As many of you know, I have a deep appreciation for cartoons. They were a significant part of my childhood. However, recently there have been some unusual developments. Do you recall those classic Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network shows we used to enjoy? Rugrats, Powerpuff Girls, even Courage the Cowardly Dog. They're all making a return. Initially, I was thrilled. It felt like a nostalgic dream come true. But then I began to wonder, why now? Why are these studios suddenly so intent on reviving our childhood memories? It seems as though they are attempting to divert our attention from something significant. And then I discovered it. A rather dubious Reddit thread discussing how all these reboots are part of a larger conspiracy. We're talking about the Illuminati, predictive programming, and more. And I must admit, I was deeply unsettled. I felt compelled to share this with you. The timing of these nostalgic revivals is quite intriguing. It seems unlikely to be a mere coincidence. These studios are strategic. They are fully aware of their target audience. They are capitalizing on the millennial generation. Millennials are now a significant consumer demographic with substantial purchasing power. This strategy, known as nostalgia marketing, is proving to be highly lucrative. They rely on our emotional connection to characters like Courage the Cowardly Dog to drive viewership. We eagerly consume this content, driven by a desire to relive our childhood experiences. We are willing to spend money to recapture those nostalgic moments. However, producing high-quality animation is a costly endeavor. The expenses include animation, voice acting, and various other production elements. But what if there was a technology that significantly reduced these costs? Enter artificial intelligence, or AI. AI is now being utilized to write and animate these shows. The technology has advanced to a point where the results are remarkably impressive. For instance, the Fairly OddParents reboot employed AI to replicate the original voice actors with astonishing accuracy. The motivation extends beyond mere financial gain. The phenomenon of reboots delves much deeper. Consider the current state of the world. It is undeniably tumultuous. We are confronted with pandemics, climate change, and political turmoil. In times of adversity, we seek refuge in escapism. We immerse ourselves in binge-watching, endless scrolling on TikTok, and various other distractions to evade reality. What better method to escape than to revisit the comforting, familiar realm of our childhood cartoons? It serves as a nostalgic sanctuary, shielding us from the harshness of contemporary life. Studios are acutely aware of this and are capitalizing on our collective desire for escapism and a return to simpler times. Now, this next segment delves into a particularly intriguing theory. During my research, I stumbled upon a theory that was quite thought-provoking. The theory posits that the resurgence of cartoons from the late 90s and early 2000s is due to their representation of a more innocent era. Specifically, a pre-9/11 world where life seemed simpler, and the threat of terrorism was not yet a prevalent concern. Do you recall those seemingly carefree days? This was a time before the internet became a breeding ground for negativity, and before the awareness of issues like school shootings and global warming became widespread. It was as if we were living in a blissful bubble, unaware of the impending darkness that was about to emerge. Presently, studios are endeavoring to recapture that nostalgic essence. They aim to resell us our own innocence, despite it being merely an illusion. This is a meticulously designed marketing strategy intended to evoke positive emotions, prompting us to spend money on products we do not necessarily need. However, the critical question arises. What if this strategy is indeed effective? What if, at a fundamental level, we are so eager for an escape from reality that we willingly embrace this fantasy, fully aware of its artificial nature? It is as though we are being subtly influenced, gradually but inevitably, by subliminal messages embedded within our cherished childhood programs. And the most alarming aspect, we may not even become aware of it until it is too late. Prepare yourselves as we delve into a rather unsettling topic. We are about to explore the realm of fan theories, some of which are quite disturbing. Have you ever considered the darker undertones present in some of these cartoons? Take, for instance, Ed and Eddie and Courage the Cowardly Dog. These shows were beloved during our childhood, but in retrospect, they possess a rather disturbing quality. For example, there are theories suggesting that Peach Creek, the town in Ed and Eddie, conceals a dark secret, such as the presence of a serial killer. Numerous theories propose the existence of hidden skulls and eerie messages within certain scenes. And then, there is Courage the Cowardly Dog. Essentially, this show was a horror series masquerading as a children's cartoon. Some suggest that Eustace, Courage's owner, was a victim of abuse, and his cruelty towards Courage reflects his own traumatic experiences. However, the situation becomes even more concerning. There are numerous conspiracy theories suggesting that these cartoons were not merely peculiar, but were intentionally designed to manipulate our minds. This manipulation purportedly began from the very inception of these shows. It may sound far-fetched, but consider the Fairly OddParents. The characters Cosmo and Wanda, for instance. Some theorists believe they symbolize government surveillance. They are depicted as constantly observing Timmy, monitoring his every action. Moreover, they only fulfill his wishes if it serves their interests. Another example is SpongeBob SquarePants. While it was a significant part of many childhoods, its implications are now questioned. There is a theory that Bikini Bottom, the setting of the show, is actually a nuclear testing site. For instance, the flowers that frequently explode. These are believed to be boat propellers from actual nuclear tests. The most concerning aspect is this. There is a belief that these reboots serve to erase the original, more complex versions of these shows. It appears as though there is an attempt to rewrite history, causing us to forget the subliminal messages and darker undertones. Consider this. Live-action remakes are becoming increasingly common. Powerpuff Girls, Danny Phantom, even Avatar, The Last Airbender. In these live-action adaptations, content is often toned down. They are made more family-friendly, less edgy. Recall Azula's storyline in the original Avatar series? It is unlikely that her character's depth will be fully explored in the live-action version. Her trauma and descent into madness may be significantly altered. Instead, a more palatable, happy ending is likely to be presented, as it is more commercially viable. But what does this indicate about us as a society? Are we so willing to accept these sanitized, diluted versions of our cherished childhood classics? Are we truly that apprehensive of the truth? Would we rather exist in a state of blissful ignorance than confront the darkness directly? This situation is deeply troubling. It has left me profoundly unsettled. There is an undeniable sense that something is amiss. It feels as though there is an entire layer of reality that remains unseen. These cartoons serve as a keyhole, offering a glimpse into something darker, something more sinister. The real question is, do we possess the courage to peer through it? We have explored various dark theories, but why are these reboots gaining traction now? What is driving the resurgence of these shows at this particular moment? This is not a mere coincidence. The timing is crucial. Generation Z is facing unprecedented challenges. They are grappling with anxiety, depression, and a host of other issues. The world appears increasingly chaotic, and they're at the forefront of these changes. These young individuals are in search of an escape. One of the simplest forms of escapism is regression, returning to a time perceived as simpler and more secure. Recall the comfort of a childhood blanket. These cartoons serve a similar purpose for the mind. They act as a warm, comforting blanket of nostalgia. These shows are familiar, safe, and remind us of less daunting times. They are akin to emotional comfort food, offering solace through familiar characters and stories. However, it is not solely the mental state of Generation Z that is of concern. There is an additional factor at play. Something more significant. Something algorithmic. Consider this. When was the last time you found yourself exploring a YouTube rabbit hole of old Cartoon Network bumpers, or spent hours viewing those top 10 forbidden episodes videos? We have all experienced this, correct? This is not a coincidence. This is the algorithm at work. It understands our desires. It recognizes that nostalgia acts like a powerful drug, and we are all captivated by it. Platforms like YouTube and Netflix are essentially cultivating our nostalgia. They are strategically offering these reboots because they know we will consume them eagerly. The more we watch, the more we desire, perpetuating the cycle. It resembles a digital drug cartel, but instead of narcotics, they are distributing childhood memories. And here's the truly concerning aspect. This entire nostalgia phenomenon serves as a diversion, a significant corporate-endorsed diversion. Consider this: the world is facing severe challenges, economic instability, climate change, political unrest. It is enough to make one feel utterly despondent. Yet, here is a new reboot of your beloved childhood cartoon. Do not concern yourself with the looming crises, simply relax and enjoy the entertainment. This is an age-old strategy, bread and circuses. Keep the populace entertained and distracted, and they will remain oblivious to the chaos unfolding around them. Why the focus on the year 2025? Why is everything converging at this moment? Because all the elements are now aligned. We have a generation inclined towards escapism, algorithms engineered to capitalize on this tendency, and a corporate apparatus eager to exploit it. This is the perfect storm, and we find ourselves at its center. The year 2025 is not merely a date, it represents a critical juncture. It marks the point where nostalgia becomes a strategic tool. Skeptical, just wait. The reality is unfolding, and it will be far more disturbing than any cartoon. Thus, we conclude our exploration into the resurgence of 2000s cartoons. Are these reboots merely a harmless trip down memory lane? Or is there a deeper, more concerning agenda? Enjoying these reboots is not inherently wrong, but it is crucial to understand the underlying dynamics. We must remain vigilant. Our cherished childhood memories are being strategically repurposed. The most alarming aspect is the rapid advancement of AI technology. Soon, AI may have the capability to alter our historical narratives. Reflect on that for a moment. What will happen when our own memories become unreliable? Which theory resonated with you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And remember to subscribe, as part 2 will delve even deeper into this subject. We will uncover the individuals orchestrating these reboots, the masterminds behind the scenes. You won't want to miss it. Stay informed and stay vigilant.